as per like the beginning part of the year where we had the pre-dones, the men's cut colour will still be similar to the last one. So we're still looking for colour on men's for a change instead of it just being too soft. It needs to be something that stands out a little bit, I would say. It doesn't mean it has to be all fluoro. It can still be working with your chocolates and stuff, but it still has to have a bit of a colour aspect to it. So to look like it's actually been sort of coloured. So as you can see on the, I don't know if you can see that top one, there is a little bit of orange going through, natural curl. So working with haircuts that work as a hairdressing haircut, not a barbering haircut. Okay, so we've got two sections. We really want to distinguish between the two sections. So men's cut and colour is a hairdressing aspect of men's cutting, whereas barbering is a barbering section. So really think about where you're going to put your model and in what section you're going to put your model. Whether the model will suit a barbering section or whether it's going to suit more the hairdressing side of it. The barbering section, just think about what colour you're using in the hair as well. So you don't want to overdo it, I don't believe. I still think you need some sort of colour if you want, but it's not a necessity because it's a barbering section. Whereas opposed to the hairdressing side, it is a haircut and colour. Okay? So as you can see with a lot of the haircuts for men's, anything sort of goes. There is a big merge between women's and men's, I find, with colour at the moment. So I've even got a female one in there as well, which sort of shows that you can utilise certain looks in both areas. A lot of pastels you're seeing as well with men, so there is a bit of a merge between the women's and women's and men's as well. But yeah, is there any questions on that on the men's?
I'll just show you the other images that I've got before I go to the black and white. This has also got a bit of runway. Okay, we're looking at men's cut colour, not. Make it cool. Not so much barbering. Barbering is a new section that we really want to nurture and grow, and barbering is a section that we really have set aside new for barbers that don't do any of this other sort of stuff. We really want to make that really stand out on its own.
Yeah, it doesn't technically have to be soft either. You can still have that edge to it. Do you know what I mean? It's just the colour's what's going to deter the difference between the men's and the barbering. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, it can still be quite edgy. Like, as you can see, there's still that real barberish sort of image up the top corner. Yet underneath it, you've got a real sort of barbering technique, but still really edgy at the same time, which can then be put into like your hairdressing section. Add a bit of colour into that, and you've got a really cool style.
So maybe, I see like a knot and stuff there. You might be looking at something that's quite style.
Yeah, something style. That's men's fashion. Do you know what I mean? As opposed to barbering. But then I've put in there different looks as well. So as you can see through here, you've got the edgy sort of where bits are completely shaped out and then blended up from there. So that, you know what? Leave it up to your imagination. Anything sort of goes at the moment with men's and ladies. If you look at all the looks that are going through, yes, there's a slight guideline, but there's nothing that's 100% specific to what we're looking at.
If you think men's cut colour requires colour, men's barbering doesn't require colour. We're not saying you have to have it in. We're not saying you don't have to. You can, but we're looking at your typical barbering. We had amazing feedback from pre-dones. We saw some awesome work for barbering, and that's what we really want to grow. We want to grow this section so more barbers get the opportunity to show what they do. Yes.
Daniel, so there's no actual limitations for what you can do with colour in the men's section?
That's what I'm saying. So anything goes, if the colour works with the haircut and it all blends together, you don't want something that looks ridiculous, that doesn't really match. Everything's got to flow. I think that's one thing with men's colour, it's got to flow.
So there's no theme as such?
No, I think colour at the moment with men, it's almost gone back to the 90s a little bit where there's no boundaries, do you know what I mean? And it's just like pushing the limit a little bit.
Thanks.
Any other questions when it comes to men's? Oh, great. Daniel, I think I've got you up here.
Am I staying up there?